Yes, Aleks?
Let me tell you about Man.
I've swapped complete failure as a Kickstarter.
Star Fox Command is the first game that you get to be Anthony Birch.
The first of many fuck yous. Like a fucking Looney Tunes? Suck.
The only stipulation was behave yourself and keep your dick in your pants, and you have not followed through on that.
I'll be like that frog from Shrek. The chipmunk getting the best head is...
Excuse me?
Haven't you seen that picture? Okay, hold on. I'm not going to do the podcast intro yet. This is more important. Haven't you seen that picture of the Alvin and the Chipmunks? And it's like, the question is like, which one is getting the best head?
No, I have not seen that picture.
And it was like the fucking the frog prince from Shrek that dies.
Yeah,
no, it wasn't even from Shrek. It was from like fucking.
It's Shrek. It's Shrek.
The chipmunk with the best head is.
Okay. Well, anyway. So now that we've talked about chipmunks getting head, hey Tad.
Yes, Aleks.
Let me tell you about one of my favorite assholes in history, Cortez.
The one from Paper Mario?
Yes, obviously. Listen here, you little piece of shit. No. Cortez, in real-life history, actual, for real, literally existed, is a special case where, when going through all the historical figures and characters and stories, it's hard to find a person who's just, like, a grade A asshole. Now, let me explain like that. Like, you have evil people. You got your Stalins, your Hitlers, you know... You're just your absolute assholes. Or absolute villains. Then you've got, like, your incompetent fuckwits, like Mao Zedong, who's just, oh man, birds are eating grain. What if we just killed every single bird in China? Oh no, here come the insects for summer. Oh, we're starving.
Here, everyone, go get some tigers. I'm gonna unleash tigers to take out all the mosquitoes or whatever. We recorded that episode like a month ago, I'll be honest. I forgot most of it.
Well, people apparently loved it, though, so it's all that matters. But then you also have what I call the ambitious person, who you can still consider pretty evil, but they're like their own brand, where they're trying to just do some weird power play, like Caesar, or literally every single fucking figure in the Japanese Sengoku period, because holy shit, all of them are pretty samey. They all have this burning ambition to just kill the other guy, and then when that happens, they'll decide, hey, now's a perfect opportunity to kill the other guy. I'll talk about the Sengoku period some other day. But with Cortez...
You're saying they're all the same, Alex? You're saying that all these Asian people look alike, and they act alike, and it's hard to tell them apart? I don't know, Alex. It sounds like you're about to get fucking canceled. Wow, do you really think they all look the same? Yes.
Okay. So with Cortez... is that going through his story, it's hard to justify anything he did because of his first action. Let me tell you about him. Now, a long time ago.
Podcast.
Yeah, dude. A long time ago, hundreds of years ago, Columbus did his whole trip to America and made the Columbian Exchange. Now, obviously, people know nowadays he didn't technically discover the country. The old Scandinavian Vikings did. But he's the one who kind of, like, modernized it. You know what I mean? Like, Overwatch didn't invent the loot box, but it popularized it. Columbus didn't discover America, but he popularized trade in there. And so 30 years after that, the Spanish go over, and they're positioned around the southern islands, kind of near Cuba.
Mm-hmm.
And, England and France went up to, like, North America, and you can even see the effects of this today. Spain went way more south, towards, like, where we know as Mexico and South America now. So when they were down there, they were positioned, there's this guy named Diego Velázquez, or I'm just going to call him Diego, because I can't pronounce his last name. I'm not Spanish. So Diego's the governor of this little fucking spot, this little island. And he wants to go more west and find more shit there. Because Columbus did, like, a big, he sailed on the coast of, like Florida and fucking, like, Mexico and shit. He did a big, like, sea formation, right? And so he didn't go to that land, but he found that there's way more over there, right? And so Diego wants to know what's over there. There's probably a lot of gold over there. Now, that's the primary motivation for pretty much everything Spain does in this period of history. It's just gold, gold, gold. It is cartoonish.
Do you know why? Was there any particular reason, or were they just building their coffers? Like, was Spain in the middle of a war?
They're just building their fucking coffers. Okay, so technically it wasn't a war, but it was like the three big powers at the time were, like England, I guess the English, I should say, because it wasn't all unified yet. England, France, and Spain, and all three of them wanted to be as rich and powerful just to flex on the other two. I would say it kind of like a Cold War almost. It was more of just like, because the Cold War was always us flexing, but also having a gun in our pocket at the same time. That was pretty much that, but with like a flintlock pistol back then. They just wanted to dab on everyone else. They wanted a lot of gold. So basically it was just greed. That's it. Very straightforward, very, very simple. So Diego is like, all right, I want to pay an expedition to go over there and explore the shit. And so he goes to Cortez. Hernando Cortez, and he has a middle name, but I don't remember because it's Spanish and it's weird. Cortez, he's like, buddy, I'm going to give you this money, take your boys, and go over there and explore everything, and fucking get some gold, and whatever, and here's the plan. He gives him his little quest log. It says, establish a fort, and if there are natives there, establish trade with them, and then come right back. Very simple.
And then it says, objective, survive.
But here's the thing, it's very simple, and the very shocking twist of events, Diego doesn't want to, if there are natives, doesn't want to just murder all of them. The Spanish aren't like the English or the French. So, Cortez is like, all right, asshole, I'll take care of this. And then Diego says, well, hold on a minute there. I changed my mind. Fuck you, Cortez. I fucking hate you. You're a fucking bitch. Give me that. He takes the quest out of his hands and hands it to another guy named Jerry. There's a reason his name's only Jerry, Tad. So he gives it to Jerry and says, Jerry, do this quest for me. Cortez, fuck you. And Cortez is like, all right, fine. I see how it is. So the day before the expedition leaves, Cortez goes to Jerry's ship and he's like, hey there, Jerry. Just wanted to say good luck on the expedition. He's like, hey, thanks. Cortez then pulls out a pistol, shoots Jerry in the face, kills him, throws him overboard, rings the ship bell and says, all right, boys, we're going west, and takes over the ship and leaves.
Now okay, I don't know if you know this. Was Cortez like a member of like the Spanish fleet or something? I don't know if you know, but what he was before he started these here. Was he like a fucking pirate captain?
He was a conquistador, which is basically those are the guys back then that were sent on these fleets to conquer, pretty much.
So pretty much it was just like, to use like a comparison, something like a general, not like a general, but like a military guy that they sent out there, basically. He was
a navy would be more accurate because he's because
like a navy captain. He wasn't just like some guy off the street that they said, "Hey, you want to be a conquistador?"
He had a ship and a crew.
How evil is your mustache? Okay, you can be a conquistador. How pointy is your weird helmet?
He had the look with the little fucking mustache and the little goatee, though he did grow it out later in life. Anyway, so this is why I call him the biggest asshole, because every single thing he does after this point was a crime. It was illegal. He was specifically not supposed to do this. He murdered a guy to take his fucking quest. So
did he think that they were just going to be like, it's fine, here's your gold?
I'll tell you what his thought process was, because it's plot relevant, but he has to get there first. I'll explain it, because he had a little diary. Trust me, this is a whole story, and I love this bit. Just hear me out, all right? This is gonna be kind of long, but it's worth it. So Cortez takes his crew, and they sail west, and they get kind of towards South America. They're on the coastline, and where they're not alive anymore. Around, I should say, but where the Mayan civilization was. He's around the coast of the Yucatan. And as he finds a shipwrecked Spanish sailor there named Geronimo. Geronimo is an old priest, and he's been living there shipwrecked for so long, he actually knows how to speak the Mayan language from the locals that still live there. And Cortez is like, you know how to speak the language of these native savages, do you? And he's like, yes. And he's like, all right, yeah, come aboard. You could be pretty fucking useful.
This sounds like the first party member in an RPG.
Yes, pretty much. And so Cortez then sails up north a little bit.
Cortez got his Goombar, yo.
Yes, he got his little Goombella. And so he goes up there, and he lands on the coastline of what we now know as Mexico. And they land there, and they start building their fort, and the Aztecs live there. And they see him, and they're like, the fuck is this? Why are they so fucking white? What's up with that armor? What's up on that? What is that massive fucking canoe? And they see the cannons, and they see how the cannons fire, and they're like, holy shit, oh my god, we gotta tell Montezuma! And they run all the way back to the capital city, which is called Tenochtitlan. Now, I'd love to go about the entire history of the Aztecs, but that will be for another episode later. They are a very cool civilization, but we're going to focus on Cortez for his story right now. So they run up to fucking Montezuma, who's up there sipping his fucking hot cocoa that he drinks every single day, which, if you didn't know, the Aztecs invented hot cocoa, but it's not the hot cocoa that me and you can buy at Walmart, because we just get like chocolate powder and then like water and heat it up. What they did is they had the cocoa bean, because it's native there, grind up into like a paste, mix a little water in there, and they put diced up peppers on top of it. That's where it gets the hot part. Yeah, and I'm pretty sure people still make traditional hot cocoa like that, but that's what they did. And I actually like that in Fate, Quetzalcoatl's Valentine's Day gift is a traditional cup of hot cocoa. I thought that was really cool that they actually did that.
How big are Cortez's titties in Fate? I'm going to repeat this because there's a loser on a fucking motorcycle. So how big are Cortez's titties in Fate Grand Order?
Sadly, he is not in yet. Christopher Columbus is, and he is one of my favorite characters in that game, and I really hope Cortez gets in. But knowing Fate, he'll probably be like a little lolly or something with a little gun. Anyway, fuck Fate. Anyway, so they go up to Montezuma, who's just sipping his hot cocoa, and like Montezuma, you're never gonna believe it. You're never gonna believe it. He's like, what is it? He's like, there are white people on the fucking shore. Okay, so they've got guns and mighty beasts on their war canoes that can spit fire. And Montezuma like spits his fucking hot cocoa out. And he's like, they've got what? And they wear fucking like a part of the earth as armor. They're talking like they've never seen this shit before. Obviously, you know where I'm going with this. Because this is all fucking new to them. It's like it's the equivalent of imagine if aliens landed in fucking Earth right now. That's what the fucking Aztecs just got hit with. They just got hit with the fucking future stick.
It's like fucking like fucking chariots of fire.
Yeah. And Montezuma, if you ever see him, he has like the big white robe and the huge fucking like feather headdress. He gets put in Civilization a lot in the Civ games, and in real life, he's not nearly as cool and powerful, sadly. Now, granted, a lot of the history that we read is from the Spanish perspective, so maybe they kind of downplayed him a little bit. But he kind of comes off as a huge bitch in history. But let me go into it. So he starts sweating like crazy because he knows immediately that these guys could easily just fuck everyone up. Because what do they have? Their armor is like padded linen, and they don't wear pants. They just have like a little like vest. They've got shields made out of like wood, and they've got their obsidian fucking machetes that they're called like maculites or something. I don't know how to fucking say it. It's Aztec. It's not,
yeah. You're talking about the stuff that's like it's like a stick and it's got these discs made out of
obsidian.
Yeah,
Really
because
when you hit someone with the obsidian, it breaks off into their skin and then keeps breaking off because it's so brittle. You basically just make them bleed on the inside out. It's a really fucked up weapon, actually. It's very scary. But they know they have the little axes and they have blow darts and shit. And they're like, well, we're definitely fucked if they ever come near us. I gotta think of what to do. So he's just thinking like, I could just swarm them. I could just Zerg rush them right now and just get them off my land. Unless, if I could become friends with these guys, I could get those fire-spitting beasts and those sticks that shoot rocks. This is a good idea.
It's a terrible idea.
All right. You two, go down there and speak to these guys for me. I want to make some trade with them.
And those two people that he pointed down there? No, I was going to say they were the characters from Emperor's New Groove, but that's like further south.
Yeah, that's the Inca Empire. The Spanish do meet the Inca, though. I did talk about that briefly, where they went to the capital city of Cusco, but they couldn't breathe up there because it was really, really high in the mountains. But the Incas adapted to that environment, so they could just breathe up there just fine. Cusco's named after the capital city. Anyway, we'll talk about the Incas some other day. So these guys run back down, and they jump. They're like, "Hey guys, want to trade?" And they're like, "Oh shit, brown people!" They're like, "Wait, don't hold your fire. We're not gonna kill these guys yet." Wink. Geronimo, you're up. And Geronimo's like, "Ugada you got a twister? Oh yeah, I do." And the Aztecs looked at each other and like, "The fuck is this guy saying?" And then Geronimo turns back to Cortez like, bro, I'm sorry, I speak Mayan. These guys speak Aztec. And Cortez is like, God fucking damn it! And he just like fucking breaks the fucking gun over his knee. But the Aztecs have an idea. They're like, wait right there. I imagine they just like waving their fucking hands. I'm not sure how they communicated this message. But they somehow told them to stay. They run out, and they run back with this girl named how the fuck do I pronounce this? Malinche. Malinche. The girl. We'll call her La. So La, we'll just call her the. So the comes in. They get this girl, and this girl actually can speak Mayan and Aztec at the same time. So here's their crazy way to speak to Cortez. The Aztec guys talk to La Malinche. I think it's Malinche. That sounds Spanish enough. They talk to Malinche. Malinche then goes to Geronimo. Geronimo then turns it into Spanish, and it talks to Cortez, and then back and forth. Now, that sounds convoluted. It was, and many things were lost in translation, but they could speak. And so now Cortez has his way in. And so he says the typical alien invader line, take me to your leader. So Cortez leaves half of his dudes stay at the fort and build it and everything. And that takes the rest of his dudes. So he's got like 100 dudes at the fort, 100 dudes with him. He doesn't have a lot of guys. Remember, it's just one big boat. So he doesn't have like an army. So Cortez is like, let me see what you natives are up to here. They bring him to Tenochtitlan. And Cortez and the dudes are like, whoa, this place is fucking rad, dude. Have you ever seen art depicting Tenochtitlan? It's this really cool city with like all these like canals and shit. Because they built it in the middle of a swamp.
Like, oh, is it the one with like the step pyramids where they're like I'm trying to. Isn't it the one that they based that? All right, so I got to make this into like a reference that us cool nerd guys will understand. Remember that area in Breath of the Wild to like the southeast where all the lizards were?
Yeah.
Is it that?
Yeah, pretty much. The Aztec, that might have been Mayan. Aztecs and Mayans, I'm going to be honest, even though I like their history, I do get them confused a lot because their aesthetics are very similar with their architecture. Because everyone kind of figured out how to make a fucking pyramid, you know? But those guys were neighbors, so they kind of shared notes. But, yes, the Tenochtitlan had a bunch of those kind of square, like, step pyramids that you're thinking of all over the place. A lot of those square, like, buildings with just, like, empty doors and windows because they didn't have glass. And there's just rivers and canals all over the place to help, like, transport everyone through it. And what they did to build the city was really cool, and I really want to talk about it, is their creation myth, their legend is their original king was looking for a sign from their god of where to make their new city when they were traveling. And they saw an eagle grab a snake, fly on top of a cactus, and eat that snake in the middle of the swamp. And they're like, that's the sign. We're building it right there. But boss, that's a swamp. Everything's just going to sink. You can't build in there. And he slaps the guy and says, bitch, we're going to build our city in that fucking swamp. And so they did this really, I don't even know how the fuck they got all this time in this wood. But what they did is they nailed a bunch of these big fucking like wooden like logs to work as a foundation. And they made an entire foundation for their own, they basically made their own landmass in that swamp. And then built the fucking city on top of it. So that's why it was able to have a city in the middle of the swamp. All the other, like, natives, because there was a bunch, because the Aztecs were just one tribe, there's a bunch of tribes in this area, were like, these guys are fucking crazy. Then they look back, like, 10 years later, holy shit, they actually did it.
It's kind of like how Washington, D.C. is built on a swamp, and it has a bunch of fucking issues because of it. They have to keep draining shit all the time.
Yeah, that makes sense. But if you ever wondered, that's where the Mexican flag comes from. It's from that story. That's why the flag has a little eagle on top of a cactus with a snake in its talon.
Oh, shit. I've never actually looked at the Mexican flag.
And also, fun fact, Mexico City is located where Tenochtitlan was.
What? That's crazy.
Yeah. But anyway, you're probably thinking, where did Tenochtitlan go? I'll explain it in about 20 minutes. You'll find out. It's really fun. So Cortez
you
goes
keep
to the
talking
city.
while I look up the Mexican flag on my phone.
So Cortez walks into the city with his dudes and his escort and his two translators, and they're like, whoa, this place is awesome. And so, like, the Spanish guys are, like, jogging down notes. They're, like, talking to the locals. They're, like, jitting everything down. This is where we know a lot of the history of the Aztecs is from these Spanish guys talking with them. And Cortez goes up to Montezuma and meets him. And he's like, all right there, so you're the leader, huh? And he's like, and Montezuma's, like, fucking shaking and sweating. Because he can see, like Cortez is still wearing, like, his conquistador, like, armor, you know? He's got his armor, he's got his big sword, he's got his fucking gun on his fucking holster. Like, Imagine if an alien went to go meet the president, but the alien was in a battle mech, right? That's the equivalent of this exchange right now. And so Montezuma's like, yes, I am Montezuma, leader of the Aztecs. What are you doing here, white man? And he's like, because remember, the Spanish were white. They're a lot more brown now, but back in the day, they were a white European power. So this is a case of white people bad. So he's like, well, I'm on a quest. I'm here to look for gold. Do you have any gold? And he's like, no, but I do have a lot of silver, cocoa beans, and slaves if you want those. And he's like, and I do see you have a lot of guns. We could definitely trade for that. And Cortez is like, he has his hand like on his holster, just kind of like T-posing at him right now, just like, He's like strutting back and forth. Let's see. No gold. That is a big deal breaker for me. But you know what? I like you, Montezuma, and I definitely like your hot chocolate. So you know what? Here's the trade deal. You give some cocoa, you give us some slaves, and we'll bring you, and we'll let you be trading with Spain. And Montezuma's like, wait, what do I get in return? He like leans over, he's like, so anyway, you're gonna give us the cocoa and the slaves. So, and Montezuma's just like, he's like, sure deal. And they shake hands, and Cortez leaves and goes back to his fort with his dudes. And he's like, well, everybody, we did it. We did the quest, established trade and a base, and we're all good to go. Oh, wait a minute, I murdered a guy to get here. That's not gonna fly with the crown. Ferdinand's gonna be fucking pissed with me. I gotta do something really fucking special here. But wait, what if I were to conquer this place and make it territory for the Spanish Empire? Then they would definitely pardon me for my crimes of murdering Jerry.
This is literally like if Eric Cartman was a conquistador.
Yes. So he's like, you know what, boys? Let's go back to Tenochtitlan real quick. I want to talk to Montezuma again. And so they walk back, and I can imagine Montezuma was like, whew, well, that takes care of that. And then Cortez was like behind me. He's like, what are you doing back here? And he's like, I just felt like hanging out, just, exploring the place. How you doing, Montezuma, my buddy, old pal? Like, putting his arm around him. Like,
y'all got any, gold?
Got any more gold by any chance? He's like, no, but you can kind of stay here if you like it so much. He's like, hey, that does sound like a good idea. I would like a little house for me and my goons. Thanks, Montezuma. And you know what? And he, like, leans into him. I think you should stay with us, too, just to make sure nothing bad happens. So they basically kidnap Montezuma. And they live in this little fucking house in Tenochtitlan. And they lived there for a very long time, actually. They lived there for a few months. And this is where they just start walking around, exploring the place, scoping it out, and talking with people, learning how everything is. This is where we get all of our history. But the people in Tenochtitlan, the Aztecs, really don't like this situation. Because they know they're up to something. They know the Spanish cannot be trusted. And they have their fucking leader hostage. They're getting a little nervous. And so Cortez gets this really cool idea. He knows that he can't just all out kill all of them. Because even if he does have all the guns and armor and cannons, they do outnumber them a lot. Numbers do kind of win in this situation. And he is surrounded. He's in a house in like the middle of their city. He will get fucked.
And he's got a single boat. Literally, They just push the boat 10 feet into the water and they're fucked.
Yeah. So like, they're thinking, okay. I can't just take over the place now. But wait, how do these guys work again? And remember, he's got these two translators. He's like, well, boss, the Aztec Empire isn't just one big group of people. It's actually one big tribe ruling over a bunch of smaller tribes through tribute and stuff. And the tribute being human sacrifices, people do get a little pissed off at Montezuma. And he's like, that is true, isn't it? They do get pissed off, don't they? Nice phone. They do get pissed off,
But they
don't
especially get pissed off when their tribe leaders are trying to record a podcast, then their fucking cell phone goes off.
And the worst part is, too, it wasn't even text. It was just the fucking notification from an app. Dabs. Listen, anyway, so he gets this big idea. He gets this big fucking idea. He starts exploring around the other tribes, the lesser tribes. And he's all like, hey, so, what do you think of that Montezuma guy? And they're like, fuck him. He sucks. He comes in here like every fucking month, grabs a bunch of my dudes, and rips their fucking hearts out on a fucking altar. I hate this guy. I don't give a fuck about Huitzilopochtli. I just don't want my fucking son to get fucking murdered. And he's like, hey, I got an idea. He like brings him in. How about you help me out? We can get rid of Montezuma, put me and the Spanish in charge. And he like taps him on the chest. We ain't gonna sacrifice you ever again, bro. And he's like, you know what? I like that. I like that idea a lot. Yeah, I would love to get rid of Montezuma. Thanks, buddy. And he's like, yeah, buddy.
So, Alex, the way you described Montezuma coming in there reminded me of, so my roommate's dad, there's like these gambling places around here. He'll go in there and just like, spend his social security check, whatever. This is what my tax money pays for. And one of the places he goes to, there's this really big fat guy who always plays a certain machine at a certain time. And if anyone's there, what he'll do is he'll come in, he'll sit down next to him, lift one leg and rip a huge fart right next to him, grab a fistful of candy, and then get in the now like unoccupied seat. And that's what Montezuma was like. Right? Is that history, Alex?
I think you mean Cortez, because Montezuma was the guy he was bullying and had kidnapped. Cortez is the guy flexing on everybody right now.
I was talking about how where Montezuma would just show up and just like take a bunch of shit and then leave.
Oh yes, yeah. So Montezuma and the Aztecs, but before he became a bitch, would just come up there like on his altar T-pose, like, "Hey there, lesser tribe, would you like to give us some of your fucking silver and people?" And he's like, "No. Would you like us to kill all of you? Okay, here's some silver and people. Yeah, that's what we thought." And then he would fucking he would T-pose, but he would still be facing like their direction as he's just like backing up, back to the city.
That's as he no-clips through the wall.
Yeah, that's a comedic take on the Aztec rule. So yeah, they were not a unified people. In fact, there used to be a triple alliance where the Aztec was just the middle group, but the Aztecs over time just kind of overtook everything. And that's why kind of people are getting a little distasteful of them because, again, they do kill people a lot. And you've seen their ball game. If you've ever seen the one movie, The Road to El Dorado, that cartoon, the ball game is like you have to hit the fucking ball into the hoop with only using your hips or your ankles. And whoever lost would be sacrificed to the gods.
What was the ball made out of? Because in the movie it was fucking like an armadillo. But I'm going to go out on a limb and say that's not what they were made out of?
No, they used this weird kind of, like, linen and, like, this rubbery material. I don't know if they had actual rubber. I don't know if that was in Mexico. But they had a bouncy material that they could... It would still bounce around like an actual ball. It was basically just like a big fucking basketball.
You know what I just realized?
Had to give it. Yeah.
This is, like, the only group of people that I... Like, just, like, surface-level history knowledge. One of the only, like, ancient peoples that I know of that just had, like, sports and shit. That weren't, like, ancient Greece, you know?
Yeah. Dude, the Mesoamericans fucking loved this game. All of them. This was their,
like... something we were talking about before we started recording is how Alex hated that in the Yu-Gi-Oh cartoons, everyone's all about cards. Was this their Yu-Gi-Oh? Did they fusion summon? Did they XYZ summon people?
Yes, they did. And fun fact, this was actually part of their mythology, that the gods played the game. And so in the stadium, because the ruins of this place like still exist, obviously. In the big stadium, the carvings of their creation myth, the story, is painted carved all over the place. The game is very important to their culture. And there are recreations of it people use at like modern day, which I think is really fucking cool.
Neat.
But also, fun fact, their basketball is actually one of the oldest games that we know of, oldest sports. Well, that's the theory, because this is like kind of like basketball, but there was in Mexico, in the more the northern area though, people found this really, really old like ruins of like basketball hoops. Obviously, they were different shaped, obviously, but they were like the equivalent. They were like up there with the ring and everything, and so people thought like, and they're like, did the ancient Aztecs really play basketball? And then this historian guy's like, basketball is a pretty simple game, so theoretically speaking, yeah, people probably could have made it up a long time ago. We just never really thought about it.
Basketball is just vertical soccer.
Yeah, just put the ball in the hoop, and he compared it to the other like Aztec sport. So he thought, like, logically speaking, yeah, maybe they thought of it, and we just kind of thought of it a second time.
It's like how they got dragons in like every culture, because lizards are weird and spooky, and it just make them really big. Like it's not it's not like that complicated.
Yeah, just a coincidence of like human interest, but which is a really fun thing to learn about. So anyway, so they're sick of Montezuma. So Cortez is just going around from like village to village to village, and I imagine he's still just bringing around Malinche and fucking Geronimo for this whole fucking thing to talk to people, which I think is really funny. I wonder what Malinche's fucking thoughts of all of this was. But so he's getting them all together, and he's like, yeah, this is going great. I'm getting a little rebellion going. He's like rubbing his hands, and he's getting ready. And so people are getting more nervous, though, because when you get a rebellion that big, people start talking, And so, they're getting really antsy. And Montezuma is, like, sitting there, like, poor little white boy in the house filled with fucking, like, Spanish people.
It's
like,
the
he's
gamer
just, like,
house, dude. It's like the fucking, the esports houses, the fucking Summit house. Everyone's playing their fucking hip basketball, and he's just kind of stuck on the couch. Montezuma is that guy. Okay, Alex, do you remember this? There was, like, a Dragon Ball Fighters thing at, like, the Summit house or some bullshit, and a dude microwaved his cereal. That is Montezuma.
Yeah. I was like, and Montezuma's teaching the Spanish, like, and here's how you make hot cocoa. You maybe make chocolate powder and microwave it? No, you stupid idiot, you put peppers on it. But anyway. So Cortez was like, all right, boys, I think now's the time that we do this rebellion. All right, we're gonna start pissing off all these people all at once. All right, and go. And then as soon as like the people start getting rowdy,
and go.
As soon as the people start getting rowdy, they're starting to do riots. Because remember, he's been there for months. He's been there for a long time, just T-posing on everybody, and they're getting kind of sick of Cortez. Well, the people in the city, in Tenochtitlan. Everyone else is kind of liking him. But, like, they're like, fuck the Spanish, boo! They're, like, throwing rocks at the fucking house. They're, like, fucking, like, I think they had torches. They're trying to get rid of them. They're just trying to push them out and save Montezuma. Or so Montezuma thought. Montezuma, like, goes onto the roof, and he's like, please, everybody, please, we can make peace with them, please. I swear to God, they're not gonna murder us all. And there are two conflicting stories of what happens next. One, he gets hit with a rock in the bad spot of his head and dies. Or two, the Spanish bring him down into the house, realize he no longer has a purpose, and beat him to death with the butt of their rifle. Either way, his death was very hard object hitting him in the skull and killing him. So
Yikes.
Montezuma is now dead. Now there is no leader. And they are pissed. And Cortez is like, oh man, they're pissed. I guess we gotta start doing this now. And then a guy runs in from the fort. He's like, Cortez, we've got a problem. He's like, what? What possibly now? We're kind of in the middle of almost throwing these people over. I've been waiting months for this. He's like, the crown found out about Jerry. And Cortez practically shits his pants. Because they sent 14,000 guys to kill Cortez.
Oh,
they
wow,
are
so
pissed.
Cortez
is
not
like,
fucking
uh-oh.
around. That has got to be such that's a lot of fucking people to pay for. Just to be like, all right, kick his ass.
Like,
The bailiff, whack his pee-pee.
Because I remember Diego was like, I wonder how Jerry's doing. And the guy's like,
I wonder
boss?
how Jerry's doing. And just a floating dead body in the pier.
No, the other guy's like, boss, Jerry's dead. We found him yesterday. He's like, what? Yeah, he was shot in the head with a gun. What? Yeah, coincidentally, one day before coincidentally, a day after you fired Cortez. Wonder if Cortez had anything to do with it. Like, imagine Diego just like clutching his chair, like leaving claw marks. He's like, Cortez. So all these dudes come there, and they are just ready to fucking kill Cortez. Cortez is like, okay, new plan. You guys, I want half of you coming with me. So he brings like 50 guys. He's like, what are we supposed to do on our own? He's like, objective, survive. So Cortez takes his boys and he runs that, leaving like a small group of dudes, just in this fucking house surrounded by a mob of fucking Aztecs. Just scared with a dead Montezuma.
It's like that fucking, it's like Left 4 Dead. No, it's like that Revelations 2012 shitty game that we played.
Yeah, it is literally that. So he runs with his boys, and he runs up his fucking little Aztec turncoats. He's like, all right, guys, we're gonna have to deal with these guys, and like fast, okay? We're gonna do a cool strategy. What? We're gonna fucking bum rush them. So fucking this dude, we'll call him Derek. So Derek and his army of 14,000 guys are like, all right, boys, we're here to do one thing. What's that? We're gonna fuck Cortez and fix whatever he fucked up here, alright? They're like, alright, boss. And Cortez like comes out, he's like, hey, Derek! They're like, hey, look, this week of the devil. There he is right there. He's like, hey, you wanna know something cool about living here for so long? What? I made friends! And he blows in his fucking, like, Mayan death whistle, which sounds like a fucking skeleton screaming. And all the Aztecs just fucking bum rush out of the fucking woods and charge these guys. And they just scream shitless, because they weren't told he had an army of natives on his side. And then remember, that they fucking screech and howl with their big fucking, like, armor. And they have a lot of intimidation tactics. That was what the Aztecs did. And so they're just like, oh, holy shit, they're gonna eat our fucking brains! And so they just start beating the shit out of everybody. But Cortez wants to have as little casualties as possible because they captured Derek. And he's like, everyone, stop! And he's like, he has Derek like by the head. He's like, all right, boys, I got a new proposition for you. You can all team up with me, and we can become rich. Or you can end up like Derek. And he shoots Derek in the head right there. And they're all like, yeah, all right, gold. Yeah, I'm thinking gold. Yeah, this Cortez guy is pretty cool. They start shaking hands. And so now Cortez has 14,000 dudes. So Cortez starts rubbing his hands. He's like, this is the perfect timing for this. So Cortez gets a really cool idea. He looks at his dudes and looks at their two boats, because he has his own boat and their boat, and he's like, hey guys, what? You guys know how to move a boat on land, right? And so, which by the way is a tactic, you can use like logs to kind of push it. So he has a bunch of dudes start pushing the boat towards land, and he starts marching back with his newfound army, his native turncoats, right by the Ixalan in the midst of their crisis. Now is the opportune time to do that plan he made a couple months ago. So he comes in with the biggest fucking grin on his face right now. He gets in there, and everything's just on fire. Because everyone's just in this big riot, because Montezuma's dead, the Spanish are fucking everything over, we hate this, boo, everyone's like slapping each other, and he's like, alright boys, let's go take over the city, and the army sees this, and they're like, oh shit, and so their new leader is in charge right now, which was Montezuma's brother. His name is Quetzalcoatl, or I can just call him Quet. So Quet here is like, alright boys, fuck the Spanish, we're not letting them into our fucking city. Bring back the drawbridges, because they have these big ramps. Because remember, it's a swamp. It's surrounded by fucking water. They actually have a lot of natural defenses here. They bring in the fucking... They reel them back in. Send out the fucking war canoes. And they're just like shooting bows and blow darts at these guys, trying to get them away. And he gets his own war canoes from his turncoats. And he just starts checking like... they think that these canoes have anything against my boat. Like, yeah, well, you can't bring a fucking massive-ass boat here. And he's like, bitch, do you guys know how to bring a boat on land? And then... coincidental timing, the boat fucking just zooms in over the fucking hill, rolls down into the fucking lake, and now they have a battleship in this fucking swamp.
Jesus Christ. Imagine how much of a pain in the ass pushing a huge, like... Because it was the one boat, right? Or did he have, like, he probably had multiple boats to bring them over.
Well, the other guy's boat now. Remember remember the other dude?
Oh, right.
Remember Derek and his army of dudes? So remember, he had also a lot of men to spare pushing that boat.
It's like an evil version of when Gandalf during the fucking Battle of Helm's Deep, where like at the very top of the hill, he like, had the light shine out, but it's just pushing instead of a bunch of riders of Rohan, it's just fucking, it's just a boat to murder natives.
Yeah, so the boat just comes in there, and I can only imagine the look on their face. This is like... in Independence Day, when the mothership blows up the White House? I imagine that was what this was like, because they just live in... They have canoes. They have war canoes. There comes a battleship like 10 times the size, loads up all the cannons, and then they just start fucking blasting. They start firing, they're like, oh shit! And so Cortez is like, alright, you... turncoat natives, go bring those drawbridges back up for us. You guys are the technology. Now, it was actually just a fucking drawbridge, but kudos to his thought process there. He actually did think ahead and think that maybe the natives would know more about their tech than he would. So you know what? You were smart in that time, Cortez. So then, they get the bridges out, and Cortez is just marching with the smuggest look on his fucking face, and with his army and his turncoats, and they're just murdering everything in sight. The Aztecs, have no fucking chance, because again, their tech is just way worse. It's just bam, 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 and they're just falling down like flies. And so... a new guy shows up, the supposed reincarnation of the war god himself. This guy in this big fucking, feathery armor and these two big axes. And this guy, I think they padded his armor really fucking heavy, because he just won't fucking die. He starts just chopping through Spanish people like crazy, and there's a legend that he was able to capture 3 Spanish people with one hand.
With one hand?
With one hand, just grabs them all together by the hair, and just fucking goes just screeches, cuts all their fucking throats with this fucking tomahawk.
And this guy's name was Yahweh Hands.
But this guy, this war god, he's charging through, but it's not enough, because Tad, how long were they there for again, living in that city? It was a few months, right?
Yeah.
Now, Tad, how long does smallpox take to spread to an entire population of people?
like 3 days.
Well, apparently it took a few months because
Okay, maybe I was
smallpox
wrong.
hits
Listen, I'm not a disease scientist.
Smallpox hits the Aztecs like a brick to the fucking face. I can only imagine Cortez, like, this is my little cartoony, like, anime, like, headcanon, where, like, the Aztec, the war guy in his fucking bird armor charges Cortez, and Cortez, like, holds his man back, puts his arms behind his back, like smug looking at him, as the Aztec guy, like, trembles before him, starts, like, to die, and you see, like, the smallpox, like, appear, like, right then and there, and then he just fucking, like, turns into, like, he just, like, sinks into, like, a skeleton and dies. He, like, turns to dust right there.
Just immediately within, like, feet of him. And you have, like, his
like,
giant yaoi hands roll up to Cortez's feet.
And he just dies. He's like, heh, totally planned that. So Cortez, at this point, basically takes over the whole fucking city. Everyone's dead, everyone's starving, everyone's got smallpox, and he just runs the fucking train through everything. They pretty much could not fight.
We did it,
So-
Goombario. We saved the city.
He's like, well, there you turncoats go. We took down Montezuma, and we saved your people. Isn't this exactly what you wanted? They're like looking around, and everything's on fire, and they're like, yes it is. Fuck the Aztecs, and fuck their stupid heart-eating god. Because remember, they didn't like the Ted. They were kind of insane. So, now that he takes the place over, everything dies down, the city is more or less ransacked, and he gets all the silver, gets all their fucking cocoa, gets all their shit basically now for free, and he starts sending it back to Spain, and he sends a fucking letter, like the biggest asshole ever, directly to Diego and to the king, and he's like, I told you I was the right man for the job.
Damn.
So I can only imagine Diego's face as he's like clutching the letter, like it's all crumpled up, like rips it. And so Cortez is like, well, he goes right to the king. He puts his little fucking walkie-talkie. He's like, well, there, king, I've done it. I've taken over this place and made it part of the Spanish Empire. And the king's like, oh, okay. That wasn't what you were supposed to do, but okay. What are you gonna call this place? He's like, I don't know. He basically puts his hand over the phone, looks down to his little like turncoat guy. He's like, what do they call you people again? Like, we're the Mexica tribe. And they're like, I think I'll call it Mexico. And these will be the Mexicans. And they're like, okay, yeah, that works. We'll give it an X so the English can't pronounce it correctly. All right, we got it. Mexico. And he's like, all right. And you know what, king? I think I'll be the governor of Mexico, too. And he's like, sure, all right. And he's like, yeah, he's his own governor's mansion. He's like kicking back. Everything's nice. They're renaming Tenochtitlan to Mexico City. You can see where this is all coming together now, Tad.
Yeah.
He sits in his little governor's mansion. He's like, you know what, Ferdinand? He's like, what now? He's like, why don't you make me the king of Mexico? And he's like, all right, that's it. You've gone too far, motherfucker. And so he sends more guys to go fuck up Cortez. He's pissed. He just sends them all over there. And Cortez is like, well, you know what? I think I had a good run. Bye. And he runs away. And he was never heard from again. He vanishes from history. He just leaves. And to fuck with Cortez, they bulldoze the mansion that he lived in, the governor's mansion, rebuild a complete new one anyway, and put a new guy in charge. And they're just like, okay, you, governor, not king. You okay with that? Yeah. All right, we're going home. This place is us now. Bye. Okay, whatever. And so then the guy's like, all right, so how do you Mexicans rule everything? Well, we have a slave working class of people that do offer us tribute and goods. He's like, yeah, that's pretty good. Let's just keep that. And then that's how they took over Mexico. And so that's where the name comes from. That was the tribe that helped Cortez take over the place. And so this is what I find interesting about the Mexican history. Now, obviously, a lot of that was, for comedic effect. If you want to learn the real full story, I highly suggest looking at official sources. I say this in every history episode. But I really like this story because, one, Cortez is just an asshole because he killed the guy to get here. He wasn't supposed to do any of this. He took the quest and then ruined the quest anyway just because he's a dick. But then, unlike, say, in North America, where with the Native Americans, the English and the French just kind of murdered all of them, and now they're more or less an endangered species, with Mexico and the Mexicans, the Spanish kind of assimilated with them. And so now what the people that live in Mexico today are the offshoot, or the crossbreeds of the Spanish and the original natives that were living there. So unlike us, where the white people rule this country because we killed everyone else in there, the Spanish actually teamed up with the people there and just kind of took over.
Is that why I was always confused when I was younger? Why Spanish was related to Central America at all when Spain's like all the way over there? But yeah, this and something I found funny about the about that story is that like it was both basically like bad guys. Like they were doing human sacrifices and playing weird hip basketball, so obviously they did deserve to die.
Like Montezuma was a very cruel leader. Yes, he was.
Yeah.
And technically speaking, overthrowing them was probably in the best interest of because okay, the Mexica, aka the natives that lived in Mexico, and all those people. They, out of all the native people that live in the world, they kind of got the best deal because their people are still alive. Like the people that live in Mexico still keep a lot of that culture still alive.
That's true.
Like people probably forget this part, but like shit like Day of the Dead is an offshoot from like their really old holidays back then. A lot of the people like have ancestors that are native like Aztecs and shit. Like Aztec culture is intertwined with Mexican culture. And I find that really fascinating because it's a lot different than us up here in America because, you know, we don't give a shit about the natives that live up here. They got fucked. They literally exist in small pockets here and there, and that's it.
And then we build fucking oil pipelines through their land.
Yeah, we Captain Planetville in their asses like every fucking day. And so like everything, like their aesthetics, their everything is just so their culture, even their language, because like Mexican Spanish is different than regular Spanish. Everything is still intertwined with their ancestors, and I actually really find that interesting. And if you ever go to like Mexico and learn about it, you learn all this like really cool shit and the stuff that they still keep intact. That's why when you see shit in like video games or movies and TV, there's only a few things that are like distinctly Mexican. You've got the luchador, you've got like the sombrero and the poncho, which is the thing they created there. And fun fact, you know the American cowboy actually got the poncho and the hat from Mexico?
I didn't know about the cowboy hat, but I did know about the poncho because
that part's obvious.
The southern border of the United States is like weird. It was pretty fluid for a while. I really don't know the history of that too much. It'd be pretty interesting to probably look into it and see how bad we fucked over the Mexican people.
Yeah, because like so like California, Colorado, Texas, that used to be Mexico.
Like that's why there's
a lot of Mexican culture there.
I'm gonna go on a limb and say we were probably in the wrong at the Alamo. So I'm just gonna I don't know anything about the Alamo, but I'm gonna guess that we are probably the bad guys in that situation. We had the skulls on our caps.
But yeah, that's why the distinct things in Mexico are like the luchador, the sombrero and poncho, and fucking, you know, a lot of their food, their cuisine, and then of course the Aztec stuff. And a lot of people in Mexico fucking love that shit still. I was having this conversation with my friend where he was like, yeah, well, Aztec shit isn't really Mexican shit. And I was like, bruh. And then I had to like pretty much tell him this whole fucking story to show like, again, Mexican people are the descendants. They quite literally are the Aztecs still. They're just, you know, more modernized. But they have a lot of Aztec shit in their museums, and it's super cool. And I highly recommend you people like look into it, learn about it. And while I do love telling history in fun little comedic ways, I highly suggest, because I love it so much, you all learning from like actual sources and learning and keeping that shit going, because history is so fucking rad.
And speaking of things that are pretty rad, you know what else is pretty rad, Alex?
This podcast?
Exactly. Checking it out on YouTube, iTunes, Google Play, Spotify. That's a big podcast boy for some reason. We are on, I already said Twitter, I'm pretty sure. I fucked up my cadence, Alex. Oh God, it's all going downhill. There's a Discord and a Patreon. So thanks for listening. Let us know if you're really liking these history episodes, and we'll probably end up making some more of them.
Not like we have any other content to fucking do shit.
So thanks for listening in, and I hope you have a very good Christmas.
You're not even gonna say very merry or happy New Year. You're just gonna say very good.
Oh, let me make it corporate. I hope you have a very happy holiday.
Dabs.